There you are. Professor Dr. Tarquin Danglebury here, and Lord Windermere. Well, yes, of course. I mean, you are there too. Yeah, I mean, you're always featured quite prominently in the show. I was thinking, it's not just Professor Tarquin Danglebury. We're kind of in this together. Yes. All right. We'll start over. Professor Dr. Tarquin Danglebury here, and Lord Windermere. All right. So today we're going to have a look at this ink. This is an ink by Conway Stewart, my dear friend. Conway Stewart launched this ink. I particularly like it. What I like about it is that it actually has the name Edgcumbe. Edgcumbe. Now, Edgcumbe, you may not be entirely familiar with Edgcumbe. Edgcumbe is a lake. It is a lake near West Nibshire, where I live. It is a small village of West Nibshire, and quite close to that is the Lake Edgcumbe. And Edgcumbe, I used to swim there a lot. Yes, not now, but when I was younger, with the other kids in the village, I used to swim there a lot. You see, that's what we did, Edgcumbe Lake. So it's a beautiful lake, and the best part is that when the sun sets, it has this sort of purple sheen. It's a sort of purple sheen. It's very relaxing, very, very relaxing. You sit there, you hear the bubbling, sort of murmuring. It's a very, very interesting sound, very relaxing. You have that nice sun setting. You have the nice sort of purple color. Well, that's the color of this ink, you see? I can open this up, and then you can actually see it. You can't really see it, but it's purple. You can see that in the writing sample. And, well, that's pretty much all there is to it. So, I hope this is going to be useful. I'm pretty sure it is, because I'm doing it. And, I'll see you later. Yes, well, there we go. So this would be Conway Stewart Edgcumbe. No, wait. Edgcumbe. No. Edgcumbe. There you go. Yes, that's the correct spelling. Impossible name, you see. I grew up in the area, but still. Let's start with a bit of fine writing, shall we? Fine. The quick brown fox jumps over something. And then, yes, then we move on to medium writing. Medium. The quick brown fox jumps over something. Broad nib. Something. This is abbreviated, you see? I couldn't put it all in there. It didn't fit, so I had to abbreviate it. Then, finally, we have telic. Oh yes, maybe we should do some, let me see, some flexi writing. Oh, I seem to have gotten ink all over me. Is there a cloth in the area? Yes. How annoying. Alright, well there we go, flexi writing. I'll just write the quick brown fox jumps over here. But you sort of catch my drift, yes? Yes. Alright. Then, what we need is some passes. First pass. Well, no flow. Ah, there you go. 2, 3. We shall return to those later. But for now, I think what we should do is have some writing with a very wide nib, you see. Let me see, what shall I write? Maybe the P for purple. P for purple, with a little thing on top. Yes, and then there should be some medium writing. Could you give me that medium pen again? Yes, the medium one. Yes, yeah, thank you. Alright, the medium writing. I understand a lot of people really enjoy my handwriting. I completely understand why. Let me see. This is actually drying a bit? No. Well, yes. Oh, yes. I think we can go for the second pass already. Seems to dry fairly quickly, this ink. 1, 2. Yes. Wonderful. Alright. Alright. And then this is sort of drying, not entirely dry yet. Here we should just have a look at the ink. So, what can we conclude from the ink? I would say what we have us here is a fairly interesting sort of amethyst. Well, maybe it's a little bit darker than amethyst. It is a dark purple, which has some fairly interesting shading. The shading here is quite nice. Is it excessive? No, but there definitely is shading, which I kind of appreciate. Alright, I think we should have a third pass right there. Yep, dry. Third pass. There we go. And then, of course, I'm not going to do a brown benchmark, so I'm not actually a Stephen Brown. So what I'll do instead is the Tarquin test.
God save our gracious
closely
Queen.
followed by the Tardif test. Alright, so I think that this is drying, yes, which means we can have a look at the eyedropper thing. And then, while that is drying up a bit, we should have a look at the scorecard. Let me see, pen, could you give me that medium pen again? Yes, thank you. The scorecard. We should start with cleaning. Well, cleaning is fairly easy. I'm going to give that a 1. I've had no issues with that. Bleed through. We'll have to check that later. Color. Well, that should be a purple. Yes? Yes. Purple. Then we have shading. Well, it's not excessive, but it's not bad. I'll give that 2 out of 3. So 1 would be ultimate shading. Then we have flow. I see no issues with flow, so I'm going to give flow a score of 1. Full marks. Then we have feathering. This is something we'll have to judge based on the copier paper test later on. There is drying time. Seems to be fairly quickly. I'm going to give that a 1. And finally there's waterproofness. We'll have to judge that based on this. Let me see. What I have here is a bit of cotton. I'm going to get rid of this excess water. Thank you. What can we deduce from all of this? The writing, well, it's affected. The writing here is quite severely affected. It's not exactly terrible though, I can still read a bit of it. I'm going to give this 2. It's not perfect, it's not terrible. And that kind of concludes business here. When it comes to shading, I think the Tardif test gives us a nice approximation of the shading that's possible here, going from fairly light to fairly dark. The Tarquin test, of course, is extremely successful in improving the sort of colour of the ink. And I also think we can see the shading here from a non-saturated to a highly saturated nib, going from a lighter purple to a much, much darker purple. And I just love the italic writing sample. I think this really gives a nice view. Alright, then we should have some writing on a completely different type of paper. And that is this very paper, which I have here, you see. This would be copier paper. Let me just find the cap to the pen. I seem to have lost the cap of the medium pen. It doesn't really matter. I'll just start out with the fine/flex pen. Start to do some fine writing. Yes, and then there is medium writing. Heaven knows what happened to that cap. Very odd. Ah, there we are. Here's the cap. I found it. Then we have the broad nib. Yeah, Skippy there. No real skipping there. Of course, when I said Skippy, I didn't actually mean the kangaroo. Italic pen. I seem to have misplayed the italic. Lord Windermere, have you found that... Ah, thank you. I was trying to be in the show. Why wasn't I in the show? Well, Lord Windermere, I'm afraid we don't really have time for this. I mean, it's kind of weird. I mean, whenever you need a pen, you just ask me, and I just got to make sure you get it. But, I mean, just now, I mean, I wasn't actually featured in the show. I don't understand, because I'm a very interesting person. So, whenever you need a pen, I can help you out. But apart from that, you don't really need me. I think it's kind of offensive, really. Yes, thank you. You're very good. You're very good, Lobster. Now go away. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You'll be featured in the next episode. Bye. Alright. Sorry about that. Lord Windermere is a little insecure. Italic. Italic writing. And finally, we should do a little bit of flex writing. Alright, and then I think we should do a little bit of fat writing. I'm not an excellent calligrapher, so you just have to take this for what it is, fat writing. And now I want to have a look at feathering. Well, as you can see, there's quite some feathering in the flex writing. There's feathering in the fat writing. I actually see just a little bit of feathering, at least I think I see a little bit of feathering in the italic writing. You see? Just a little bit. But it's not excessive, but it's there. And in the medium writing too, actually. Not in the fine writing. Just a little bit, right there. You see it? It's kind of there. It's not extremely pronounced, I just see it. So, bleed through, quite excessive. It's there in the broad writing. It's there in the flexi writing, it's there in the fat writing. So there is some bleed through. Now when it actually comes to rodeo paper, bleed through is of course much less pronounced, as you can see here. So what do we conclude from this? What we conclude from this is, I would say, that bleed through is, I'm going to give that a 2. It's not terrible, because it's mainly with the really broad nibs, but even then, and you know, when you expend a lot of ink, but even so you see a little bit of the medium writing. So definitely not full marks. I wouldn't call it terrible either. I mean, I have seen pens or actually inks that just bleed through on even in a fine nib, and that's not the case here. Feathering. Feathering, well, I'd say feathering is a 2 as well. It's not terrible, it's not the best. So total score, 1, 3, 5, 6, 8, 9, 11. Is that correct? 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yes. Inkage, 11. So finally what I'd like to do is just try and compare this ink to another ink. So what we have here is Conway Stewart Edgcumbe. You see? This is what it looks like. Alright. Then we have another ink, which I have prepared here, which is Visconti Purple. And I would say the two are almost interchangeable. The Edgcumbe may be a little bit darker, but that's pretty much all there is to it. Apart from that, they are fairly comparable. So, right now, I would say, this is Conway Stewart Edgcumbe for the geeks, and this was Professor Tarquin Danglebury and Lord Windermere. Yes, and Lord Windermere. I hope this was useful, and we'll gladly see you again sometime. Ta-ta.